Okay. Yep. Yes, I'm sorry that I didn't speak about it with you first. Yeah, yes. I'll make sure to next time, don't you worry about that. No. I don't think that'll be necessary. I don't think you have to quite go to those lengths. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for understanding. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Yes. You as well. Thank you. Have a good day. Goodbye. Okay. That could have gone better, I suppose. Well, at least he's not too upset about it, I guess. But even then, oh no. Just have to make sure that next time I don't... Hold up. Wait a second. When did I hit the record button? Oh crap, don't tell me that... Psst. Hey, cue the intro. Cue the intro, quick. Yes, cue to the intro now. They realize what we're doing. Hello everybody, my name's Professor Scalar and I hope you are all doing well. Personally, I'm almost too afraid to take a single step outside because it looks like the world is going to burn itself down at any moment. Despite all the negatives in the world right now though, we've got something to look forward to. And that's Rundown 4 Data Center. Over the past few weeks, our good friend Ludvig has been posting some teasers for us to get excited about. We've also seen the roadmap update a few times, and it looks like we're getting fairly close to Rundown 4's release. If I had to place a bet on it, I'd guess anywhere from early to mid-October as the release date. Maybe late October if things drag on a little bit longer than we wanted them to. Today though, I want to look at the roadmap and the teasers and go over some theories about what I think we can expect to see. Of course, these are purely just theories that my friends and I have come up with. This is not insider knowledge by any means, so don't take my words for facts or expect things I say to be for sure what we can hope to see. With that all being said though, let's start off by looking at the roadmap itself. The last time the roadmap was updated was September 14th, which at the point of releasing this video is almost 2 weeks ago. That means that this information that we have before us is old. Here it says pretty much everything is in progress and they haven't finished any of it yet. That could be different. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they were already in the bug fixing and final testing stages, which is also why I keep assuming that this rundown is going to be coming out sometime in October. Just because with the history of how long it took for previous rundowns to be released, October just seems like it would be the one. Also, Ludvig is giving us quite a few leaks, and normally he doesn't do that until we're getting somewhat close to the release of the rundown. But of course, only time will tell if we're accurate on that. We can also see with this that we are going to have A through D tier levels again, just like Rundown 3. A little bit of a shame since we won't be having an E tier level like we did in Rundown 2. I know a lot of editor players, hardcore veterans, really want another E tier level, and unfortunately that's not something we'll be getting here with Rundown 4. However, that doesn't mean that these levels won't be fun, unique, and exciting, and I guarantee that the C and D tier are going to live up to the reputation and be difficult levels. There are two big things though on this rundown roadmap that we have not seen on any of the previous ones. Namely, rundown specific story elements and expeditions with layered difficulty. Story specific elements is pretty self-explanatory. There's going to be a lot of lore within this rundown. The environment, the terminals, the enemies, everything. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of stuff we can look at in the community to figure out more about the backstory behind this game. Who are we? What's our purpose? Who is the warden perhaps? The timeline. There are many questions in the GTFO universe that we just don't have answered yet. And while I'm pretty sure we won't get all of those answered in Rundown 4, and we'll probably leave with more questions than we had going into it, there will definitely be a lot of questions answered, and I will work on that and eventually make a lore video or two once I play through the rundown and get some more information on all of this. The thing that I am the most excited for by far, which is saying something because I love lore, and I'm definitely a lore person when it comes to games like this, but layer difficulty takes the cake. This has been something that a lot of people have been wanting for so long, and we're finally getting it in Rundown 4 and probably every rundown from this point on. What is it though? Video games have done layered difficulty. This isn't something new that GTFO has developed, or 10 Chambers I guess I should say, but it's always been done differently throughout video games. For one, it could just simply be a way to make levels easier or more difficult, like a difficulty slider, where you can choose how hard or easy you want to make, and depending on that would change maybe how many enemies there are, how much health enemies have, scout locations, resource spawns, how many you get, stuff like that. Just changing pretty much everything in the level to make it more difficult or to make it easier. Or it could be like my man-made challenges maybe. You choose a level and then there's a bunch of different challenges you could complete for it. Stuff like doing a time trial, finishing a level within a certain amount of time. Maybe you have limited revives, or you can't revive people if an alarm is going off, so you have to finish the alarm door before you can revive your teammates. Maybe something like selected loadouts, where the game will choose your loadout for you and you can't change anything within it. Or enemies have more HP, enemies are more aggressive, stuff like that. There's a lot of different ways to handle layered difficulty, and it adds an infinite amount of possibilities to this game depending on how they handle it. This is probably going to be the biggest thing that's going to help out with what's known as the dead periods for GTFO. It's no secret that GTFO goes through deadpans, where not many people are playing anymore because they're bored of the current rundown and they're just waiting for the next one. Hopefully, layered difficulty will be executed in a way where these dead periods just don't happen for as long or they don't occur at all, and people will be pretty much playing it non-stop until the next rundown. But again, that really depends on how layered difficulty is going to work and how creative they get with it. The nice thing though is this will probably change from rundown to rundown, especially if it's something like modifiers for specific levels. It'll be different almost every single level and every single rundown. So look forward to this, because this could be a big change for GTFO. Now that we're done with the roadmap, let's look at some of the teasers we've been given by Ludvig so far. This first one is an in-game screenshot from B1. In the top left you can see B1 Data Center to show that that is the name of this rundown. And the objective is to find 2 uplink terminals and create an external uplink. The same that we have for R3B1, so the objective is pretty much going to be the same. Obviously though, the level is going to be completely different. Top right we can see the loadout, there's nothing new there, and we can see the look of this room. Definitely what I would imagine a server room would look like, with the lost servers, many wires everywhere, pretty similar design to those of like the laboratory levels from Rundown 3, not really a cavey feel, which I really like. It does look like something that's new and a refreshing take. But the big thing I want to take away from this image is actually something I didn't notice for quite a while. Back here you can see the zone, or some of it. A lot of it is covered up by those pipes there. But an interesting thing about it is we could tell it's a 2-digit number. A lot of the levels we've played through have been in the hundreds for the zone name. Only a few select levels have actually been below 100, and this one definitely is. That first number is a little bit of a curved bottom, so I would assume it's either a 6 or an 8. The second one with a little bit more of a flat bottom, so I would probably assume that to be a 2, as any other number that it could potentially be, I think would have a more curved design, sort of like that first number. So this is probably zone 62 or 82. The third one being just simply the floor room, so A, B, C, or D, that's not a new number as far as I could tell. But it's a little bit interesting to see that we're actually pretty high up in the compound itself, the complex. Normally we're hundreds of meters down below ground. This one is going to be fairly close to the surface most likely. And here in the second image, you can also see the zone number right there being 1A. This is huge from a lore perspective. If you're a person who only plays the game to care about the game and not about the lore, then you probably won't care about this whatsoever. But 1A, the first floor in the compound, the very first room, this is the very, very beginning of it all. The top of the complex. And there's a few things to gauge from here. Yes, you can see some enemies here and there, and you can see barely a little bit of a terminal in the far right. But the big thing that obviously grabbed my attention, besides the 1A, is this here. This black biomass. The same biomass we have seen on the levels with the chargers, when it's up in the ceiling, dripping water down on top of us. This is most likely that. It's a little bit difficult to tell, and it does look a bit different, but this does look pretty much just like it. However, it brings up a few questions. For one, this is normally something we've seen hundreds of meters down below ground, not here at the top. I was about to say not here on the surface, but that's another thing. Is this the surface? Whenever you load up a level, it tells you how far down that floor is, like 500 meters, 628 meters, stuff like that. How far down is this one? Is this one about 100 meters below surface? Is this only like 20 meters below the surface? This is going to give us an idea of exactly when the first floor of the compound begins, if it's surface level or if it's really far underneath the surface. The other interesting thing is the position of where this black biomass is. You can see around the edges there the jagged pieces of metal that are gone upwards due to an explosion, most likely. An explosion causes them to bend upwards. But the thing about it is we normally see these where the drop lifts are. Along the edges of whenever we drop into a level or whenever we go to a forward extraction, you see these jagged edges along the edge of the ravine. The thing is though, with where they're positioned, it looks like this black biomass is right inside of it. It's right next to where the drop would be. Is this blocking the drop, or is the drop located in a different position on this image? Or is the angle just throwing it off and this is actually right next to the drop? I have a lot of questions about it, because it might lead to the objective of this level. Think of it this way. If this black biomass is preventing us from using the lift to go further down, the objective of this level could be one of two things. First one being, find an alternate way down. We're going through this area to get to another lift that's next to it, but isn't being blockaded by this stuff. Or the second thing that I've theorized is maybe we're going through this level to find a way to remove this, to open up the lift again to enable us to go down even further into the level or into the complex. Either way, there's a lot to learn from this level when we get into it, because this stuff is close to what might be the surface, and this is preventing us from taking the lift down. But how would that make sense from a lore perspective? Let's ask that. If we've already gone hundreds of meters down below ground, how would it make sense if the lift was being blockaded at the very top? After all, we know we drop from the surface almost every single time, due to the fact that sometimes you go out and it's raining and you're getting rained on and you can see light from the sky. So if this is being blockaded at the top, how does this make sense? And this is where I believe Ludvig pulled a little bit of a sneaky that a lot of people probably didn't notice, and I myself never even considered it until a friend of mine brought it to my attention. A while ago, Ludvig posted quite a few pictures back from E3 2018. Images of him showing the game to people playtesting it. He even posted an image of behind the scenes for the behind the scenes video. And my friend thought it was weird. Why is this in the teaser section, and why was this shown after we already got one teaser image for Rundown 4? Why didn't he post this somewhere else? Now, I thought of it as Ludvig is the guy from the developer team who tends to chat quite a bit with the community through the Discord. I see him every once in a while talking with people, answering questions, and being a pretty cool guy. So I thought, well, he probably just wanted to post that there because it wouldn't be buried by a bunch of other people talking about it. But my friend had a bit of a crazy theory, but I think it holds some water. He believes that this rundown 4, is the first in the timeline. And this was a big thing. We were questioning the timeline a lot because there are so many holes in it and so many things that break theories that we just don't know where we are, what year is it, specifically what complex are we in. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. My friend believes that Ludvig was being a bit of a sneaky one, giving us hints to the point and purpose of this rundown without stating it. We are going back in time. This is the first rundown, the very first one in the timeline at least. This occurred before rundown 1, 2, and 3. Another thing my friend said was, how did we know the exact location of the neonate, or how did the warden know? Did he just simply know it, or did he have to gain the information? This rundown is called Data Center. It's completely possible we're being sent in here to find information about the neonate, what we need to do to access the neonate, where all the IDs, where all the people are that we need to get DNA samples from. This is the rundown where we figure out all that so we can actually do rundown 1, 2, and 3 and plan our course of actions. And I think it's actually pretty accurate too, or it could be accurate. Ludvig's talking about stuff that's happened in the past. This is a rundown that occurred in the past. Also, we're at the top of the complex, floor 1A, then anything between like 32 to 82. This is towards the top of the complex. It would make sense of why would we go all the way down, do stuff, come all the way back up to do more things, and then potentially go all the way back down again. Are we at the top because this is where we need to find information? Also, that black biomass I mentioned. If that is truly blockading the way down and we can't take the main lift because of this, could this be a thing where we have to find a way to get rid of this biomass or find an alternate way down? Because obviously if this is the top of the top and that thing is blocking the lift, it doesn't make sense that we've been taking a lift down this entire time through the previous rundowns when this thing, whatever it is blocking the way. Is it even there anymore? If this is a level where we remove that biomass, or if it is something else and we get rid of it and unblock the lift, that would explain why it's never become an issue before in the previous rundowns. Of course, this is all theory, and it's pretty bold because it's just a bunch of theories tied together. There's no definitive proof. For all we know, Ludvig just wanted to post those. But I believe that this theory can hold water, and that Ludvig tried to pull a sneaky on us by posting those images, when in truth trying to tell us what we're actually going to do in rundown 4. This is the precursor. We're going down in here to find out information so we can actually do what we did in rundown 1, 2, and 3. It's far-fetched and it's crazy, but it might just actually be accurate. But hey, that's just a theory. A game. Excuse me. Let me just take this real quick. Hello? Oh, hi again, MatPat. What's up? Uh-huh. What do you mean lawsuit? Wait, what?